JavaScript.
All right.
Okay.
We got an interesting topic to talk about right off the bat. So let's do introductions real fast, and then we'll roll right into this. We're going to talk about some JavaScript stuff. So, Barry, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Barry.
Outstanding. Danny?
Hi, I'm Danny.
Kevin?
I'm Kevin.
William?
I'm Barry.
And Wissam?
Wissam, out of Daytona.
And I'm Matt. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so interesting JavaScript issue we're talking about real quick, and if you haven't, if you want to join us, feel free to ping me, hit me up on Google+, and I'll give you an invite to join. I also posted an invite on the Helpdesk Hangout page, and you can subscribe to us anytime on YouTube, so that way you get it right into your inbox. Okay, so Wissam, let's back it up about 45 seconds, and let's talk about this JavaScript issue.
Well, the thing is, concerning Barry's site, we want to know, well, I wanted to know that if Google, we know that it processes JavaScript, but what I want to know if the content that's, outputting from that JavaScript will be counted against Panda. And if it is, then it will basically, if it actually counts for, so basically in next refresh there will be no changes. If it didn't, that means it's a good way to hide content in a way. So affecting it.
It seems like if the user can see it and if Google can see it, then it's going to be part of the body content, just like if it was in HTML.
It can, but you have to prove it. It's all hypothesis, right? So we have to actually say, okay, I A plus B, whatever.
Well, especially since they are saying that they want you to, they have for a while now said they want you to unlock the, the file directory for JS and also that they are actually crawling from the visual side, not just crawling the content anymore. So, or from the back end. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
It'd be cool if you could robot out a section of the page or no index a part of the page.
Yeah, that'll be nice, but you couldn't. But I think the next step, which basically you can, I don't know, if there's a Panda refresh and nothing happened, then you block that JavaScript from crawling. So
Barry, what if you put it in an iframe?
Well, I'll probably just try what John said and just move
the second page, yeah.
Comments to like a comments page and see if that makes any difference. But honestly, I think it will make no difference. I think none of the comments will make any difference.
But moving it to a different page is kind of hard on your users because they have to click into a different page, so you might get less people clicking to look at it.
It's all about Google, not about what's good for the users.
Yeah, that's gone out the window now. We're no longer in the realm of what is best for the user.
But what I'm saying is to keep it on the same page so your users can see it, but you put it in an iframe, and when Google crawls it, all they see is that iframe, and you block the iframe source.
I can't. I really don't think the comments make a difference. I think John's just saying that just to appease me.
I don't think so. I think the comments make a difference.
Only when you comment on the specific.
Yes, I have been conducting negative SEO against your site for years.
It's a sad place that we're in right now because the fact that we're having this very conversation where we have to fix something when they constantly tell us don't do things for them, just do what's best for the user, shows that there's a flaw right now in what the priorities are.
Precisely.
I will agree on that. I wish Sasha was here to give his opinion. I have a feeling he would agree on that as well.
Wait, so you really like Google?
I do like Google. I mean, they've afforded me a lot of luxuries in the last few years. But I do think there are some definite flaws. I mean,
they paid you off.
No, they did not pay me off. They've given me some nice stuff, I'll say that. But, you know, and that's the only thing. So the thing is and at lunch every now and again. But the thing is I do think there are flaws. Just like there are flaws with all of us, and there's flaws with all the sites we work on. we can't, I want them to be perfect, but I know there is not going to be a perfect system. And so then it's a matter of how can we exploit that system, that there's flaws with Google, to make our sites perform better and get more of what we need. And it's either in revenue dollars, and or it's visitation, or whatever it's going to be, whatever the goal is. So I think there are some definitely unique things that can be done. But yes, there are some issues with Google and what they're doing. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, they think you are.
Well, the nice thing about it, though, is that, we've all seen Google evolve over time. Would I love to see map locations come back? Yes. I would. I would love to see the 7-pack come back more, come back strongly for a lot of businesses and things like that. I think it helps on local. It's not there. I think that hinders users. I don't think it's the best situation. Users want to see local stuff. I'm building a site where it's all locality based.
Users do not want to see local SEOs or web designers.
Say that again?
Users do not want to find local SEOs or web designers.
Even when they're explicitly looking for them.
Yes. Do you get what I'm saying or no?
Explain it for everybody else. I know what you're talking about. Explain it.
You explain it then. Why don't I have to explain? I at least like sarcasm. I'll be sarcastic and you guys explain it.
That can get pretty dangerous, Barry.
I know, but
no. I mean, the thing is, there's definitely issues. I mean, we can't say that there isn't issues with Google. We know there are. We know that there's issues with all the sites that we work on.
Well, and so let's not even look at the issues. Let's look at the disparity between what's being said, what's being chirped about, and what we actually have to accomplish. And so I think right now that's the biggest problem that we have. While Google is trying to make strides to work more with us, or at least that's the stated intent, and we've seen some movement in that area, at the very same time they're moving farther afield from their original premise, which was don't do things for us. And now it's getting to a point where don't tell me to don't do things for you anymore. That's absurd. Few businesses can, while they shouldn't rely on it, few businesses can just abstain from being in Google, and we've seen multiple examples with that in the news industry. So don't chirp to me that I shouldn't be doing things for you, for that search engine, when it's clear that not doing those things have a huge impact.
Actually, I have an idea. Barry, that would be one heck of a good experiment. Why don't you put your comments in an iframe and then robot out the iframe source and see what happens to your rankings? If they stay the same, fine, then it proves your hypothesis, or gives some credence to your hypothesis that it's not the comments that are the issue. If they go up, then you can write an article saying, I fixed my problem of Google not liking the comments on my site that I didn't make by doing cloaking, a tactic that they say I shouldn't be doing.
right. So I thought about that. I first decided just let's go the plain, simple JavaScript route because that's the.
Well, effectively, that's the same thing.
Not really, because Google probably, I know for a fact, Google can render discuss or whatever you pronounce it comments, even the JavaScript mode.
Yeah, discuss. Yeah.
So, and truth is, I
Wait,
think
did you say they can or cannot render?
they can. They've been doing it for at least a year or two.
Okay. So what
I would have
Josh
to
is
block
saying
it.
is
I would definitely
here-
have to do some blocking or cloaking or something or moving to a different page and no indexing that page. I would have to do something where I prevent that. But the truth is, again, I really, really don't think it's the comments. I think Google really thinks my content stinks.
Well, this would be an experiment. This would be an experiment to prove that.
No, I don't think so, because I think when they run the new Panda update, with or without the comments, I think my site's going to come back.
Because of the comments you've made to them?
Because of all the stuff going on in the community about my site.
well, good. Then that should be the case, because I think it was very, here I go, unethical that they penalized your site just for the comments that somebody else made.
I don't think it. I think it may be. I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. I say it could have something to do with the comments, but more likely it's short content. And the problem is, the first rule of content is you produce the content to the length that is necessary, not to the length that a search engine deems worthy for them. So.
I don't know, whatever. I mean, I like writing short, to the point articles, not waste people's time, add a lot of fluff, and Google likes the fluff, so.
Come on, you could do the BuzzFeed where you show like 13 photos of something with one sentence on each photo, or less, and not even do a sentence.
No, it's even better than that. You go to answers.com, and you see a picture, and then you click the next button, and it shows you the same picture with a sentence, and then you click next, you get the next picture, then you click next, you get the sentence underneath it.
Right,
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
That's what Panda targets.
Yeah, but for a different thing. Panda also targets short content, just short content as well, right?
It's interesting, it hasn't done it.
Thin content.
It hasn't touched my site since till Panda 4.1, which was.
Which is why I said, Barry, that I think that there's additional signals. I mean,
there were additional signals that were supposed to lighten things up. Remember PR4 announced it on a Jewish holiday? Specifically, I think it's anti-Semitic, maybe it's an anti-Semitic move. It was on a Jewish holiday, specifically targeting my site. I think that's what it is. Target Jewish websites. There you go. Take that. Josh, go ahead. Talk about evil.
I believe that's probably sarcasm on your part. I'm interpreting. I admit this is an interpretation. That's probably sarcasm on your part. I'm willing to guess. Although I know I've made some controversies with my hypotheses lately. I think that is my hypothesis is that was just sarcasm on your part.
It's a good explanation. I don't know. All right, we should move on to another topic. On that note.
On that note, let's move on to something else. Okay. So I've basically been head down the last week working on my site, trying to clean up bugs. So I've been kind of out of it. So I haven't really been paying attention to the news. I haven't even been in the forums helping out. I've pretty much stayed off Google+. So if you guys, what do you guys want to talk about this week?
SEO.
Okay. What facet of SEO?
How about news? I like news.
Well, I think we can always beat the dead horse with news. So let's talk about something that is unique or something like that you've seen. So Kevin, I know you got to be doing stuff with your clients. So without revealing your client names, what are some of the issues that you've been working through? And things like that, and how did you overcome some of those issues this last week?
You would pick on me.
I
was actually 9 days out. I took an extended vacation. Although I did come back to the company, unlike we may or may not see Matt Cutts. But anyway, a constant thing that we're always seeing is just the location battle, and it's not something necessarily that we have to fix, although we constantly have to help our clients understand, is the importance, since we're talking about local, is the importance of having a consistent name, address, and phone number, and making sure that that's wrapped in RDFA or schema markup, some kind of markup like that, and making sure that they are seeking good citations from other local entities that are relevant to their business, or that have at least local relevance, to prove to Google that they should be coming up in that in that area. So that's one thing that we constantly have to remind people of.
Okay. Wissam, I know you're flying out to Middle East here in about an hour.
Yeah.
So what things are you working on? I know you do a lot of international. That's where your bread and butter is.
Yep.
I'm starting to play more international, things like that. I was actually looking at a whole lot of German sites this last week. That's what I was really working on. What have you seen working with sites out of the Middle East, things like that, issues and stuff like that, SEO complications, and how have you overcome those?
I mean, one thing, I mean, I should tell everyone that the type of competitiveness that's in the Middle East area or any international market is way, way less competitive than what we see over here or what we deal over here, as an English sites in the United States.
So you're admitting that you take the easy route out.
No, I'm building it's much easier. So all the basic stuff work. There's always some technical issues because they go the route with custom-made content management system. They don't go with WordPress or all these open source content management systems. So there's always some technical problems that needs to be fixed, and that's in a nutshell.
Okay. Okay. No, that's pretty concise. Josh, I know you have a bad internet connection, so let's get you before you drop off. So what issues are you working through right now? And I need to respond to your email, and I will today, along with a couple other emails about times for SMX West. So, but what issues have you seen this week?
Hi, sorry. Yeah, so a lot of different stuff. I've been doing a lot of client stuff. Of course, Penguin is still concerning everybody. I went on to one of the forums and I made a little bit of a stir with something. I don't want to get too much into it here. Let's just say that I think the SEO industry definitely needs to become more science-based and more data-based. I think there's far too much from the hip SEO. Yeah, we can't be complete scientists because, of course, we don't control what Google does, and we can't see everything that Google does. But there's, of course, and this is nothing new, but there are, of course, a lot of SEO claims going out there, particularly about the disavow file, that I think are unsubstantiated, and it's pretty interesting trying to point that out to people. You might, because it's a doctrinal position, you might get some pushback there. So that's what I've been dealing with this week, and I've been having lots of fun doing it.
Awesome. All right, Sash. Actually, Ken has a question. He's got a mic. I don't know if he has a camera.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, 505. So
Okay.
what's your issue? What do you want to talk about?
We're working on video SEO and have been trying to implement that with Wistia. And we're getting almost nowhere at getting results within the Google search. Even when we do a site search and go to the video tab, our new Wistia videos just are not showing up. We've been searching, we've been asking Wistia for help, we're doing everything according to Wistia best practices, but we don't seem to be getting anywhere with getting videos that are actually embedded on our site to show up in search results.
Do you have a video sitemap? Not the human readable side, the XML side.
Yes, and the way that works is Wistia submits that through, I guess, their Webmaster tools. And they have a system in place for that video sitemap to be done, and it's referenced in our robot text file.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think when you go to videos and you put site column your site, do you see any of your pages showing up or no?
We see just a few of our videos showing up, but not our newer ones. We've also submitted those through Webmaster Tools, some of those URLs manually to get them indexed and crawled. And we are delaying. We have not published these new videos onto YouTube either, in case that was a problem. Eventually, we'll want to get them dual-channeled and also put up on YouTube.
So
How
there,
are you embedding the videos in your pages?
Let me ask somebody here quick. We're using the Wistia SEO embed.
I don't have any experience with it. I used something else, and it worked okay.
I
I
think
actually didn't want. What was happening for me was the pages started to be ranked as only videos with a video thumbnail because I had a small video in there, and I actually didn't want that. I wanted to appear as regular text pages, so I had to iframe them out.
yeah, can you share the URL?
Definitely here. There, can you still hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, there's a URL, and we have two
So
of our.
I'm going to share the URL so that way, keep in mind it is posted on YouTube.
So you have two videos?
Tippmann Parts, TIPPMANN Parts.com.
Are you guys? Is this the same Tippmann Pneumatics from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Ken?
No, we're a service company with them. We do part sales.
Okay, because I'm right in that. I know the family, as a matter of fact. So.
Oh, okay, okay.
See, the thing only that, flags something in me is basically you have two videos, and I bet you have, I mean, at least it should show one of these.
Ken, have you in one Hangout I saw with John Mueller recently? Somebody asked a similar question, and he said that Google looks at whether this page is primarily about the video or the video is kind of supplementary to the page. So if you maybe move this video to a page and had that page dedicated to the video by itself, then that page that was dedicated to the video would start appearing as a video page.
Right. I've also heard that possibly having the videos above the fold would be important.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to accomplish is have a very detailed page with lots of information and technical information about a particular product. And sometimes people are actually searching for video help on installation and that sort of things about a product. Obviously, when we have it up on YouTube, they'll find it. But when we upload it with Wistia and they're looking for some sort of video help, they're just not finding these videos.
But I think the intent of the people coming into that specific page is to purchase, transactional, more than actually finding help, right?
Well, obviously that's what we would like them to do, is make a purchase, but we want to provide not just, hey, here's how to buy the product. We want to provide lots of information about the product, lots of good content about the product, as well as the information on how to use the product, how to install it, how to work on it and maintain it.
I would suggest you change the design if that's the case. Both Danny and Wissam, in my opinion, are correct. They're basically making the same point. If it's a no query, then they want to be informed, and the information has to go up top. If it's a do query, then they need to purchase right away, if that's what it is what they want to do. If it's a no do query, then I would suggest maybe a two-column approach where the left side has the purchase information, and the right side, above the fold, has the specific information, so that both parties get the information they want right away, as long as there's room widthwise and above the fold, so that no one has to scroll, because you would be surprised how many people don't like to scroll.
Okay, that's a good idea. And that then follows along with the Google advice about having videos above the fold.
Yeah, it's hard to say if they have a static rule in their algorithm that videos shall be above the fold. I strongly doubt it, because there'd be too many variations on that. I think it is a matter of user metrics at that point, and overall seeing how dissatisfied people may be with your site using various metrics, I think.
Well, yeah, because I think it's going back to that intent. The fact that it's lower on the page may have some bearing on it, but the intent of what they're looking for is definitely not what you're providing.
Okay. 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 Well, I thank you. I got some good ideas then to see how we can rework this page.
Yeah. I mean, I think also like some of your when you do the site column, the videos that you have on YouTube, it recognizes more than your Wistia videos.
Yeah, so I do know the Wistia gets a lot more attention, or excuse me, the YouTube gets a lot more attention. Of course, we're much more established on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to make it good SEO. Where obviously we want to get the YouTube social media experience, but we'd like to be able to get people actually going to our website for some of these videos that are fairly popular. So, okay, well, I got some good ideas. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, not a problem. Glad to help you out. And please feel free to come back anytime, ask some questions, hang out, stay here for the rest of the hour. If you have anything else you want to input or if you want to contribute, please do so.
Oh, I definitely will. I definitely will. I work on more than just this project, and I now have a mic well tested so that I'm not learning how to use it while I'm in the help desk.
That's awesome. How you doing, Sash? Oh,
yeah, not too bad. It's kind of been a day of running around, but getting along all right, fighting the bureaucrats over here in the Eastern Mediterranean. It's all good.
So we're talking about different SEO issues and things like that. But what have you seen this last week that has piqued your eye, things that you've had to work on, especially into 2015, and what are some of the goals that you're working on with your clients?
Some of the goals I'm working on with my clients, always to increase profitability. That's the first goal. You know.
Yep.
You're kind of catching me on the hop here. So I'll give you some time to think about it before giving you the politically correct answer.
It doesn't even have to be politically correct. I think sometimes the non-politically correct answers are the better answers from you, because then you start to participate even more. And that's what we're all about here today, is more participation.
Participation.
Yes. That's what I want to see, is more participation. Now, we haven't heard from, I can't get his name, Joe. So, Joe, we haven't heard from you yet. So what are some of the things that some of the issues that you're encountering right now that you're working through?
Well, I'm not really encountering too many particular problems right now. I'm having quite a bit of fun with negative SEO still. I'm doing a lot more ORM than I expected to be at this point in time, but it's been entertaining, to say the least, to watch what's going on in the industry. Still the sheer amount of people that claim it's difficult to do or hard to do. Taking out a Fortune 100 brand, still very, very doable.
Please
Just for everybody's, the people that are not experienced here, ORM, online reputation management.
Or operational risk management in the military.
Well, thankfully, I am not in the military.
Yes, we talked about ORM all the time in the military. When
I always thought it stood for "Oh, really, man?"
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, but really, no major issues. I mean, with CopyPress, we're having a pretty good year with content, so can't really complain.
Okay. So, so Barry, I know you've been pretty quiet for the last 15 minutes or so, and so is Wissam. So I'd love to get your opinions on some of the things that you're going to be working on besides, working on comment issues and things like that for the next few months on your sites.
Why do you pick on us?
Yeah, why are you picking us? Because we're
both on the East Coast.
Okay, that's really why. Okay, right after we get off of the topic, the last topic that I was talking about, then you go ahead and pick on me. All right, I won't take it personal.
You never should. Don't worry. When you come out here to SMX West, you can punch me in the arm.
You never submitted an application.
Yes, I got it selected.
Not for me. Not on one of my sessions.
No, not you.
Well, you would never select us for one of your sessions, Barry.
I'm very, very selective. So, no offense to you. Don't take it personal, but you're just not.
No, I put in to speak in technical SEO, and I got rejected from that, but then they asked me to speak on a totally different subject, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. I just got to go research it. So, yeah.
Social media. Facebook marketing?
No, it's content strategy type stuff.
What do you know about content?
I know, and my wife is a content strategist SEO herself, so that's the nice part.
I'm redoing my corporate site, making it completely responsive. A mixture of some parallax look, but not fully. It's going to be mostly not parallax, but it's going to have some of that element in it. There's going to be less content on the site, more imagery. What else? I'm going to do a lot of that stuff that's not supported yet, like the responsive design, picture elements.
Picture element? Yeah.
Well, I'm not personally doing it. I don't know how to do anything. I just tell people do it, and they just do it. And hopefully do it right. That's about it. That's the. Obviously, we have a lot of clients that we're doing stuff for, but mostly on the back-end coding stuff. We try to stay away from front-end stuff. Front-end is more for SEOs and marketers. No offense.
I have a question for you guys. If you could put just a rough statistic on it, and I know it's a vague question, but if you could put a rough statistic on it, how much of the time would you say that any given SEO consultant will give from the hip SEO suggestions versus pretty secure data-based suggestions? Because my suspicion, I'll tell you why I'm asking, because my suspicion is that in our industry, and I don't want to make another rallying cry for certification, I don't want to necessarily bring up that conversation, but it seems to me that a lot of the time people are saying, oh, we should do this because they read it on some article on some blog, or oh, we should do this just because Google said so, without any testing and without any data to back up their assertions that this is the best way, A, this is what happened, and B, this is the best way to handle it.
Somebody has to do it first.
And they're desperate.
True.
I like to jump in first, and then people like laugh at me for doing it, like the whole HTTPS thing. And then I can tell people I got hit by Panda because I went HTTPS.
And the truth is, the testing is typically inconclusive. So it's.
But Barry, why would you not go HTTPS? That's my question.
Because it doesn't do anything.
You sure about that?
It looks pretty.
Do you have a reason why, William?
Well, it's one additional layer to your security, and with that, I mean, you really have to focus on, okay, I'm on a WordPress server, okay, well, I have an admin, and if it definitely doesn't have SSL, well, that's bad for you as a hackbot's going to find pretty quickly. So
that's very true.
Your first issue is not SSL, is that you're on WordPress. That's a major security issue.
It doesn't matter what CMS you're on.
Yeah, it does. You build your own custom CMS. It's much harder for people to hack into it.
All I've got to do is find the editor. A vulnerability in an editor is simple. Or a slider, or a social media app that you've got installed. Once I actually have gained access, then I've got control of everything. That's not good for you guys.
Barry, you're assuming that the programmers know how to code properly. Sometimes, if they don't know what they're doing, it could be even worse than seasoned programmers who have been working on WordPress in a crowd situation that's going to reduce, unfortunately not remove, but reduce the security holes.
My guys know what they're doing.
It's it's back to the age-old thing, is you're less likely simply because of obfuscation. You're less people are targeting you. There's less known things. There's less reason to take the time to go after it unless it's a big hit. So I mean,
right.
We've dealt with the same thing.
Billions of sites using WordPress. There's one site using my custom CMS, and there's no editors. There's no I don't use these plugins. Anything that has to be built, I refuse to use open source plugins. I will have my guys directly work with the APIs.
But we've gotten wait a second, William. We've gotten away from the topic though. So HTTPS, for example, might not be a bad thing to implement as a from the hip SEO strategy for a couple of reasons. One, Google says it will give you a ranking boost. There's no direct reason I can see they would lie about that. There's no benefit to having sites move to HTTPS for them, really.
It's tiny.
And And so it's not going to hurt you. It costs a little bit of money, and so there really is no downside for most people, and there might be a positive side. Therefore, risk mitigation, to go back to that topic, says do it. But, going and deleting all of your links or disavowing all your links or big drastic broad or deleting 40,000 pages from your site or no indexing pages, things like that, big drastic changes, that you're going to need a little bit more evidence, I would think, I would hope, before you go and make moves like that. But we have SEO consultants who are suggesting people do that just willy-nilly, just, I don't know, just delete all those pages, or, I don't know, delete all your links, and maybe your rankings will come back. That seems to me to be highly, highly dangerous. Does it not seem that way to everybody else?
Okay, but Josh, just a clarification point there is I think what Barry may be saying, he can answer this. I think it's risky to move to HTTPS for normal businesses that don't have a professional behind it. I don't think there's any reason not to do it if it's a brand new domain. I think that if it is not a brand new domain, then it's risky for no more benefit than it provides.
Well, you're right.
Okay,
You're right.
I've got to interrupt, guys. I'm sorry, but if basically you're telling me you have an infrastructure, a location, a physical location, an office, and because you have a really good neighborhood, you're not going to put an alarm on it?
Yes, we understand what you're saying about
It's not that easy to just put the alarm on and make it active. A lot of people have had problems going over. And
to make that analogy work, you'd have to say by putting the alarm on it, you actually also redivert a road away from it and put a big sign in front of it that obfuscates your entrance. Because that's what would happen if it goes wrong with Google, is you obfuscate being able to get into your entrance.
So as far as implementing security sites, SSL, this is what I've been recommending to clients. I look at the site and I evaluate if it's actually needed. If it's not needed, if it's an e-commerce site and you get to a checkout page and then you see the SSL, well, why not make the whole site SSL? You're already using it on a checkout part of it. Go ahead and use it through the whole site. It's not going to really influence things. It's not going to really change things. It's only going to enhance. Now, if you're a publishing site, I don't see a need for it. If you want to make your back end secure or something like that, that might be a good thing. On new sites, new websites that are coming out, that is something where I would recommend to implement an HTTPS website. If your site is an e-commerce or it is a review type website like I'm building, or just depending on the situation. If it's not, if it doesn't make sense, if you're a blog, for example, I would think about it. If you're going to be accessing your blog from an airport or a restaurant and writing comments or writing posts and things like that, that might not be the best thing to be doing that stuff at Starbucks on an unsecured network where people can hack in and change stuff. Okay, so you have to think about that. Now, sometimes on a mommy blog, though, you might want to. And I know Barry's going blah, 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 same regurgitated crap every day, or every Friday. We talk about the same exact issue. But it's the same stuff, and it seems to me that people just don't understand it. SSL is good for a site that needs it. If you don't need it, if you're a mommy blogger who's only writing your posts at home, guess what? And you're on a secured, wireless network, you're not going to get hacked 9 times out of 10. And 9 times out of 10, your site is so damn small, you don't have to worry about it.
The difference is Google's saying everybody needs it. And because of that, we're giving you an incentive to switch over to it.
You guys crack me up.
But at the same time, I want to see more secure sites. I want to see sites that because for some reason, you guys know as well as I know that everybody here, everybody in the world, for some magical reason, finds out about Google Analytics. They all figure that out somehow. But 9 times out of 10, they never heard of Google Webmaster Tools. Why is that? That's the real problem that we should be talking about. Why isn't Google forcing users to sign up with Google Webmaster Tools as soon as they sign up with Analytics and then force them to sign up with all the different types of domains they have. Just that Google can grab that stuff and auto-populate it. Why aren't they doing it? That's what we should be asking.
You're absolutely correct. And then also at the server level. I mean, where are you hosting this thing?
Good question.
Where are you hosting your things?
I'm hosting my sites now at Google.
I don't want to know where he puts his things.
So I'm moving all my websites over to Google.
And if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
So all my sites are moving over there just because for what I'm doing for my main site that I'm building out right now, I've looked at all the stuff, I've thought about it, I've researched everybody I could find, I've talked to Sash hours about it, you know, and for me it was a better decision to go Google with my hosting than it was for anywhere else for my new website.
Really?
But the reality of it is, guys, we don't control that most of the time, for at least in an agency type scenario. I can make recommendations. Over the years, we've done hosting. We do hosting for our Market Snare product line. We've done hosting for other things. But a fair share of the clients that we have are not interested in switching hosts, whether they have, especially if it's local, if it's in a local town and they have a local provider that they have a relationship with or whatever. So you can take that one and you can say, well, best practice would be to host with Google, to Matt's point, if that's even the case, but I can't do that. So let's go down to the next thing. I could make it HTTPS, but okay, no, we're not going to do that, so what's the next thing? And I think going all the way back to Josh's point is it would be nice if we had a better consensus of what actually did work and didn't work, so that people were not spreading false news, although they're still going to do that. But the bottom line is we don't want to be, our industry does not want to be hamstrung by certifications and be part of a group. We have one group that already fails at that, the W3C. They're not a standard because nobody adheres to it.
Archie, let's hear from you, man. How is life treating you over there in the UK?
Reasonable. It's raining all the time, but that's pretty normal.
I was going to say that's usually the standard over there.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So, and it's not that I was trying to shut down that last conversation. I just felt that it was kind of getting a little heated, so it's time to move over. Okay. And then we can come back to it next week, which I have a feeling will probably happen. So, Archie, what things have you seen? I know you're doing a lot of. Are you started your PhD yet?
Yeah, I started that about 3 months ago.
Okay, outstanding. And what types of things are you studying right now that could affect webmasters or SEO or anything like that?
Nothing.
Outstanding. That is fantastic. Now, what things are you seeing in the forum over the last few months or last month? Because I never get you to talk, and so I'm going to try as much to get you to talk over the next 10 minutes as I possibly can. So I would love to hear what things you're seeing in the forums.
Cool. Well, there was one thing I was just dealing with a couple of hours ago, but it was related to HTTPS, and since we want to move away from that, I'll skip that one. Beyond that, I really haven't seen much else, so I'm going to have to duck out of this one, I'm afraid.
Oh, man, I was hoping I could get you talking for at least 3 minutes, but I only get a minute out of you.
Okay, well, you know better than that.
I don't know. It is quite funny. If you ever want a good conversation, folks, try to corner Archie in a public location, one-on-one, and try to get him just to talk. He is quiet. So, yeah, hopefully I'll see him here. Hopefully they'll have another TC Summit here this fall, and fall of 2015, out here in San Jose, and I can hang out with Archie again. He's a good guy. Okay, so that being said, we got about 15 minutes to go. Who's got some questions that we want to go over?
Well, I was driving to a point there before you guys sidetracked this into a discussion about SSL and servers. I'll just get to my point then before you guys sidetrack it again.
Go for it.
Is that obviously we have to be as database as possible in SEO, and I think a lot of people are not doing that, quite frankly. But at the same time, if in doubt, it's just proper risk mitigation to do what makes the site, will also make the site better. I know we were talking about that earlier as well, and how Google's kind of changed that around on us in some cases. And to tell you guys the truth, of course, I'm coming historically from a more of a black hat area. We've always had to do stuff to rank our sites that had nothing to do with making the site better. So you white hat guys are starting to run into this as well. And I think it's always been that way, that we've always had to make site, even white hat or black hat, we've had to make sites with a sitemap because Google was too dumb to crawl the site in the proper way. Or we've always had to make changes, make the page textual and not an image because Google's not doing OCR or whatnot. So we're always doing things for Google to get it to rank because, as Kevin so aptly put it, that's where all the action is. It doesn't matter that now Yahoo is the default browser on some minor version of Firefox. Who cares? If you actually take a look at the real statistic, that reduced their search share by like 2% tops. Whoop-de-doo. So I think we need to do stuff that actually makes the site better. Exactly like the suggestions we were giving earlier to Ken. You know, it comes into the design now. Not only should he make those changes we recommended because it'll probably boost his SEO, but because it's going to make it better for the user too. If any SEO gives you a suggestion, you're not sure whether to do it, you should either A, ask them for their evidence, and or B, ask yourself, is this going to make my site better? If the answer to both is positive, then that's when you should go ahead and do something, not because, you know, some person wrote an article on the Moz blog or wherever. Rant completed.
Okay, we're not going to talk about Moz blog or anything like that because...
Well, choose any SEO blog. I just picked that out of the air. Choose any SEO blog.
I agree. We'll go with Barry's blog.
The bottom line is, and this has been true going all the way back that I can remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, whenever it really started heating up, is, you know, you can say all day long to write great content. That's fine. I get that. That's a great premise to start from. But while SEO won't fix crappy content, if you're not doing optimization techniques, your great content isn't going to be seen by everybody it possibly could. That's just the end of the story. So whether or not, how far you take that and what gets switched around and what Google approves of today versus what they approved of 3 weeks ago, you know, that's just part of the concept that we've always told every customer that comes through here is your website is never done. Your website is never done. This is not a brochure. You don't take it to the agency, have it done, it's printed, you send it out, and it's done. Your website is never done.
Not if you want it to rank.
I think ranking is only...
I would argue not even if you want it to convert.
Yeah, convert to. And I'm sure that's about to be Matt's point.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody the other day that, you know, we talked about their traffic, and we'll just say their traffic was 100 visitors a day. Way more than that. But we'll just say it's 100 personnel a day, 100 people a day. And I said, right now, you're getting, you know, such a low conversion rate. I said, if you were to get 100 people, I said, and all they cared about was traffic, but they weren't making that much money. And I said, you know, if you were to get 100 people a site and 60% or 60 people were to actually convert and actually get a sale, dude, you'd be making money hand over fist. You wouldn't even know what to do with yourself. You'd be taking trips to the Bahamas and Europe and all kinds of good times. I said, but the problem is I said, you don't care about conversion. I said, let's look at their conversion cart. And we went through their shopping cart, and I showed them the whole process of it. I said, you see how crappy of an experience this is? And they're like, oh.
Matt, we need to talk afterwards because I could almost bet that it's the same guy that I talked to 2 years ago. I don't know that, but it's exactly the same thing. So to interject here, sometimes it's not the SEO guys because I know it's happened to me. Sometimes it's the client. The client won't do what you tell them to do. The client gets their cousin Billy Joe Bob, who can fix their own computers, to help them with their SEO, and then the SEO guy gets blamed for it. So, but yeah, conversion, that's happened multiple times.
Another problem is that because SEO is so nuanced and moving into marketing, the suggestions that we're often making sound so unlike the suggestions that other SEOs are making. That can be a problem as well. You know, like how many other SEOs would help people with their conversion as both a marketing tactic and an SEO tactic? Most other SEOs would be like, what? That has nothing to do with SEO. Just buy links or edit, put more content on the site. You know, those kinds of things. So there's obviously a disconnect there.
Well, and keep in mind too, and Josh, you're not allowed to comment on this. There was a period of time where, unfortunately, this stuff worked, and so as people who were trying to play with Google the way they wanted to have this done, you know, we went through a very long period of time where the people doing it right were not rewarded. So we can sit here and we can berate the black hat community up one side and down the other, and I don't necessarily agree with what they've done, but they made money. They got visibility for their clients, and they made money for a short period of time until they finally got caught, which made me happy.
I think
I was about to say I'm working on a site real fast. Let me interject, Josh, real quick here, and then you can jump in. I'm working on a site right now where they hired a black hat, and they got tons of traffic, and they made a lot of money, and they bought over 100,000 links. I have the audit of the links that the guy actually bought. He actually gave them every single link that he bought, which is helpful to remove them. It's like, I'm so thankful that he gave them that. I almost want to give him some money because he gave them that document, because it's going to make my life that much easier to clean it up. But the thing is they have about 130,000 backlinks, but 100,000 of them he paid for. So now I'm like, okay, great. Now I've got to remove them all. So while these guys were dumb enough to hire a black hat, at least they're smart enough to realize they have to hire me now. And hey, I'm going to make a little bit of money off the mistake they made. And go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, and you please forgive the pun, I don't think it's a black and white issue when it comes to the ethics of black hat and white hat. Kevin said it was doing it the right way, quote unquote. I would just urge caution in these kind of sweeping moralizing statements.
No,
however ironic it sounds for me to be saying that.
The right way for Google.
Okay, good. Good clarification.
I like that. All right, so we got about 7 minutes left. So Barry, what else do you have?
What else do I have? On the SEO.
Why don't you say some sarcastic things, Barry, and I'll translate for you. By that he means I hate you. I hate you.
So this was interesting. John Mueller basically was downplaying the site command a lot, even though Matt Cutts said 5 years ago that the site command does rank web pages based off of some level of page rank as well as the shortness of the URL. And John said, no, you don't have to worry about what's ranked in what order, and especially if your homepage is not number one when you do a site command, you don't have to worry about it. So I found that to be interesting, that now that's no longer the case, but you do most sites with the site command, it typically does rank the homepage number one unless you have a really popular subpage.
FYI, Barry is implying that this is misinformation on Mr. Mueller's part.
Well, I don't know if you would say misinformation.
Well, those are Barry's words, not mine.
Hey, I don't know if it's misinformation. Well, maybe it's misinformation. Maybe
Speaking of misinformation, yeah, it's hard to say. Either they changed it in the recent history, because they used to say about Webmaster tools as well. When you get in the lost links section that are 404ing, they used to say that they sorted that list based on your most important pages, quote unquote. And then someone, this was like 2 years ago in a John Mueller Hangout, and then I asked, oh, does that mean that then we can tell what how important some of these pages are, and some of the, I don't remember if I can't remember if I said PageRank or like the SEO juice behind some of these pages. And he's like, yeah, they'll give some idea as to what we think should be ranking better on your site. And now they don't say that either. So either they made the change or they realized that they don't want us to be snooping too deeply into how these lists are being sorted. It's really hard to say. I definitely don't think you can put too much credence into it. Like, there's a lot of people who do a site command and they start really freaking out if this page shows up above that page. I don't think it's that important. Do you guys?
Would you think it's important that your homepage is not the first page listed?
No, unless I was trying to rank my homepage above all others, unless that was my star page that I wanted to rank for sure.
Yeah, what's the query? I'm sorry, did I miss it? What's the query?
No query. Just
the site query.
The site
operator.
The site operator, yeah. Oh, well then, I mean, who cares?
Although, interestingly enough, I have done tests with that site query, that negative site operator query that got leaked in the quality reviewers document. That -site:/site and then put in quotations the site. And it'll give you different information if you start removing the www versus and the non-www, for example, based on what site is canonical, what version of that is canonical. If you put the canonical in that query, it gives you different information than if you just put the string in that query, which tells me they're doing some calculation as to the canonicalization and the authority of the site. Does that make any sense?
It does.
So it's very interesting. It does change it based on what you give it, and so that would make you think that the site query is giving you some window, a little bit of a window into some of the secret sauce, perhaps.
Does it help you see page level penalties?
No, I see. Well, that's an excellent question. I mean, that's a perfectly testable hypothesis right there that we're not in a position to test. My gut reaction would be no, because I believe John Mueller said once that a penguin penalty, for example, which I believe is page level, has no bearing on the site operator whatsoever.
So here comes what you just said, Josh. Highlights exactly what the problem is, though, and that is that unless Google provided the exact answers, or we all shared tests, which is not going to happen, then when we don't personally have that and we're not in a position to run a specific test, then we are being paid to make our best guess. We are being paid to do that. And that is no different than a doctor who comes up with an ailment that he does not yet know what is actually the problem. And so you would certainly rather have professionals trying to do that. And then that goes right into the problem of, do we really have a lot of professionals? Whether you call somebody a plumber or a water conveyance engineer makes no difference. It's really the person and how seriously they take their job.
No, I have to say something. You're absolutely right, and I would agree with you 110%. In the absence of evidence, all we have is our gut instinct based on our experience. But there's many situations, especially the one I've been dealing with this week, where there is evidence to refute their hypothesis, which they have not proven, and a lot of SEOs don't go by that evidence. And also, how ultimately none of this matters for the end client. The end client, as I said, has to ask themselves two questions. One, will this make my site better, and therefore it's worth spending money on anyway? And two, what evidence do they have to suggest it? Number two cannot always be gotten. So number one really should be their cardinal rule they go by.
I have nothing to refute that.
Yeah. Okay, so with that being said, we have less than a minute to go, so we're going to wrap it up for the week. Archie, thank you for joining us and actually communicating this time and participating. Archie never communicates. Too quiet. So I'm gonna get you more, man. I'm gonna get you a lot more to start participating. All right, that's my goal.
Matt, we need to schedule an SMX West meetup because it sounds like we're gonna have enough guys there that we do something, have a special hangout or something like that from there.
Yeah, that'd be fun. All right. Well, I will see you guys next week. Enjoy. Don't party too hard, and stay out of trouble.